All right, the second game on our hot button list that we're keeping a watch out, keeping an eye out for week 3 of the NFL is a very interesting game, and that's the Chicago Bears versus the Cleveland Browns. Chicago Bears versus the Cleveland Browns. And I think is maybe one of the most exciting games of the week outside of the Bucks and the Rams. I actually think this is going to be a good game. I believe it's Chicago at Cleveland. And it's Justin Fields' first career NFL start. Hats off to the Bears organization for finally making the decision and the move. Y'all let me know how you feel in the comments. I just don't get it. When you understand that a player, specifically a quarterback, or at any position, but specifically a quarterback, because your franchise lives and dies on the shoulders of the quarterback. And when you understand, when you have a quarterback that's clearly better than the other quarterback, why wouldn't you play him and pull the excuse he's a rookie? Give me a break. Are you serious? So that tells me you don't really care about winning. My God. But I'm glad they finally made the decision. I mean, to me, they was going down the same route as Kirby Smart, but don't tell anybody, for the University of Georgia, when he decided to go with Jake Fromm over Justin freaking Fields, for crying out loud. You see how that turned out. Georgia could have won a national championship. But anyway, Justin Fields gets his first start of the year, and I believe this is going to be a good game. And so I want to give you the keys to this game, and we'll see if my predictions turn out to be true. We didn't do any predictions for week 2, but we're doing them for week 3. Week 1, I was about 50%. So we'll see if we can get any better on week 3. Let's start with the Browns. What do the Browns have to do in order to pull this out? I believe they got to do 2 things. Number 1, they have to contain Justin Fields. They got to do their best to contain Justin Fields and bottle up the run game. Because we know, rookie first start, they're going to lean heavily on that run game, and I believe they're going to lean heavily on his legs. And so the Browns have to bow up at the point of attack, and they have to contain that running game and Justin Fields. But that's not the biggest. Here's the biggest key to the game for the Cleveland Browns. Don't let the game come down to one offensive possession. I repeat, don't let the game come down to one offensive possession. Because if history is a good teacher, as we know she is, then that doesn't necessarily bode too well for Cleveland and specifically Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield doesn't necessarily pull out those close games. Couldn't do it on Monday night last year against Lamar Jackson. You know, the famous Superman game where he went out with an injury and came back in and won the game for the Ravens. Didn't go well for them in the playoffs in the close game, and it didn't go well for them when they played the Chiefs. So I personally believe that if they want to win this game, then they have to make sure that it doesn't come down to a last minute or minute and a half or last 2 minutes of the game and the ball's in Baker Mayfield's hands. I'm not saying he can't do it, but history has shown us that in games like those, he's not the guy. So they have to bottle up that run game, and they have to make sure they keep good enough distance points-wise between themselves and the Bears, because if it comes down to a close game, I'm not too sure, and I'm not too gung-ho to put all my faith in Baker Mayfield and the Browns. What do the Chicago Bears have to do to win? To me, the Chicago Bears have to do 2 things to win. Number 1, you have to let Justin Fields free. Let him free. Let him free. The offensive coordinator, listen, the Chicago Bears cannot script plays for Justin Fields as if he's Andy Dalton. Can't do it. Or Trubisky. You can't do it. You got to let Justin be Justin. And I hope they already got packages. They already got a scheme that perfectly aligns and fits with Justin. I mean, they drafted him, for crying out loud. So they already should have been thinking. I'm pretty sure they have. And they got to let him free. You got to let him run. You got to let him scramble. You got to let him roam. You got to let Justin be Justin. You can't make Justin Fields a pocket quarterback. You can't. Now, does that mean that he has to always scramble and get out the pocket? No. But I believe that we saw it in college. He did a pretty good balance between scrambling, bouncing outside of the pocket, as well as staying in the pocket. But you have to script plays that lines up with his strength. And another thing is, you can't have Justin Fields. Don't let him free, but don't put the game in his hands. In other words, don't have this man throwing 30, 40 times. Don't have this man running 10, 15 times. Have to script a pretty good game to where you can expose Justin Fields' strength and not necessarily his weaknesses. And so I think that's the biggest thing that the Chicago Bears has to do. And if they want to win, they have to let Justin Fields free. And the second thing that they have to do on the defensive side is don't let Chubb beat you. Khalil Mack and company. Don't let Chubb beat you. Let Baker Mayfield put it in the air. Listen, you will come out better. You have a better chance of winning this football game if you look Baker in the face and say, okay, Baker, you go win this. You go air it out and you go try to win it. Then you do. If you look up, it's halfway through the third quarter and Nick Chubb got 125 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. It's not going to bode well for you. This Chicago Bears defense, which is no slouch, but they absolutely have to contain Nick Chubb. If Chubb gets 125 to 150 yards rushing, you can cancel Christmas, Chicago. Chicago wants to win. They have to let Fields be free, and they have to let Baker Mayfield beat them and not Nick Chubb. Your chances are greater to win this game if you say Baker beat us instead of letting Nick Chubb run all over you like he was at the University of Georgia. Can't do that. So drum roll, please. What am I picking? I'm picking Cleveland. I think Cleveland, I know Cleveland has the better team. They have an experienced quarterback. I think Justin Fields have a pretty decent game. But I don't believe it'll be enough to beat Cleveland, and I hope I'm right.